Hi, my name is Erin. I'm here with Shenandoah National Park, and today we are running an eDNA project looking for absence and presence of brook trout in different streams at our park.
We've selected sites all across the park to try to understand the current distribution of trout because we have identified some concerning trends in our monitoring data for the fish. And over the last 20 years or so, we've seen declines in many of the populations within the park. Not all of them. Some of them are doing actually quite well. But we want to make sure that we have a handle on what's happening across the whole park. And so we've teamed up with Trout Unlimited and the Shenandoah National Park Trust and other groups to solicit volunteers and send them out in the park to collect the water.
Volunteers are coming and meeting us at the 2 entrance stations in the park, and everybody's picking up a kit. These kits have a site number to which the volunteers have been assigned. They also have a big 2-liter bottle, a little bottle, a pair of gloves, and a mechanical pencil. There's a data sheet in here and site directions. So our volunteers are going to follow the site directions to get to their site. Then they're going to fill out this data sheet. And this bottle is our collection bottle. So we're going to have our volunteers put on gloves to keep everything sanitized. And we're going to collect water samples from, I believe, 80-something sites in the park today. So pretty exciting. We're going to fill up these bottles, and the volunteers are going to meet us back here at the entrance stations. And we are going to filter those. Once we have our filters prepared, we're going to send those out to Fish and Wildlife, and those are going to be tested for brook trout eDNA. And the presence of brook trout eDNA is basically going to tell us that there are brook trout in those streams, and the absence of the DNA is going to tell us there's no brook trout in those streams.
And we'll learn a lot about where the trout are now, and hopefully we'll be able to identify some conservation opportunities, places where trout are doing better than expected and deserve extra protection, or maybe some places that are suitable but trout aren't currently there that could be considered for introduction or reintroduction if conditions deteriorate in some of their current habitat.
Put them in.
Any brook trout DNA you've been messing around with will contaminate the whole thing?
Just grab the bottle out. Some bags will have a smaller bottle in them in case you can't get a deep enough pool area to get a sample, so you take the small one and just fill up the big one with it. But we got a deep enough spot where we could fill this up. You'll just get a little bit of water. Put the top on, give it a little shake, and you're gonna dump it behind you so you don't pick up any sediment or anything else in front of you. So, just a little bit of water, that's all it needs. And set it down. And fill up as much as you can, really. A little bit of air in there is fine. And tighten it up. And you fill out your data sheet and you're all set.
So the data sheet, make sure that we're not losing track of which bottles are where. The stream name and then the collector name, so we'll put down Andrew. The date, the time, and then the latitude and longitude. So basically just to double check that everything was done, and we can connect with the person that actually did this if there seems to be an issue with it.
You're gonna get your sample and you're gonna come over and do your blank, and we're using distilled water with that, deionized water, nothing in it. So basically what we're trying to do is to see what kind of air, if any, do we have, so like if we're contaminating the water, how much, and trying to minimize that as much as possible.
Basically just using it as a control to make sure that we can identify if we're contaminating the samples to and from the site while we collect them. So he'll just do the same exact process.
So yeah, I'm just gonna take a little splash, put it in, grab the cap, put it on, Give it a little shake to rinse. Dump it. And I'm just going to do that 2 more times. Put the cap back on, and then on our data sheet we're just going to take a note that we did a blank at this site. Yeah, that's about it.
Alright, so all of the samples that we'll have, we make sure that we put on ice while we're driving. Obviously the hike back, you don't have to lug a cooler around, but if you can put it on ice as quickly as possible, it kind of helps stop some of that degradation that heat can do, and then also cold kind of slows down some of the microbes and kind of stops them from doing what they do in the water. So it just kind of helps keep everything the way that it was when we sampled it. So yeah.
Heard the clip. So the filter's already in there, and then so now we can just pour the water.
ER05 is started.
And then we're running it through this. This is a vacuum manifold. We have this pump, so it draws the water down, and we have filters in each one of these. And then we carefully remove the filters. We put them in little vials, store them in ice, and that's what we're sending out to Fish and Wildlife to then have be processed for the DNA.
As we filter them, the DNA that's floating around in the water, in the streams, gets caught on that filter, and we can send that off to a lab that will analyze it, kind of like a COVID test. They use PCR to amplify the DNA signal, and they can actually detect at very low levels whether there are brook trout present in the stream or not.
I think it's great, you know, kind of understanding where the brook trout populations are and where kind of conservation resources can be dedicated, particularly, you know, in a changing climate. So having a kind of a comprehensive study like this to truly understand kind of where those brook trout are in the park is going to be great. I think probably inform a lot of efforts down the road. I think it's just a really great thing you all are doing here, and was really pleased to take part. But yeah, seamless, easy process is what I would say.
We really appreciate all the volunteers that came out and helped us, the Trout Unlimited chapters and the Friends of the Rappahannock that helped us organize this event. And we really appreciate the support of the Shenandoah National Park Trust, who provided a grant that funded this project, and of course the donors that made that grant possible. Thank you so much.
Is it filming?
Yes.
Is there gonna be a blooper reel?
Yes.
Ready? See if I can put it up. Oh my god. Cut this part out.
I look right into.
You can look at me.
Okay. The Duncan's here.
Oh yeah.